Accounting is just a translation of what happened in real life in a language that we know.
And there's a fear if he can present better than his boss, the boss can be in a problem.
You're not hiding things. It's just that you're selecting what you are going to talk about and what people need to hear.
FP&A is one of the skills that everybody has to learn.
It has to become a skill that you need in your skill set. The first step to storytelling is to learn to select what to tell about. The more you practice, the better you will be. And so this is my advice: train, learn, and practice. And don't try to cheat.
Hello, everybody. This is a new podcast with a special guest with me. And this special guest is giving you a lot of knowledge. We know that finance professional, when they started their career, they are focusing on technical skills. And some point of time, they stuck in their career. Sometimes they even don't know why they are stuck in their career because they have all the experiences, they have all the technical knowledge of finance and accounting. But even then, they stuck after some time and don't need to figure out what is the reason. Soufyan is with me and he has figured out the pain points of finance professionals, why they are not growing. And that can be the reason of improving their soft skills, including communication, presentation, and data storytelling especially. So I invited Soufyan Hamid with me. Thank you. Thank you, Soufyan, for joining me in this podcast.
Thank you for welcoming me. When you made the introduction, basically you spoke about my career, when I was stuck, when I was blocked. And well, basically, I cannot say that storytelling changed my career, but it kind of did. I mean, it changed a lot. So I guess that my story will help a lot of finance professionals who were like me and will help them get the trigger that they need.
By the way, for your information, Soufyan has 78,000 following on LinkedIn, and he is the most influencing person on data storytelling. When you write on Google data storytelling, you will find Soufyan name on top. Soufyan is running his academy as well, which is Finance Circle, and this academy is helping many professionals in their life of finance. So Soufyan, I know many things about you because I think we connected few years ago on LinkedIn, and we tried to collaborate in many things, but today I catch you for my podcast.
Yeah, that's great. I'm happy to be there. Actually, it's been a long time. We said we would do something together, and it eventually came.
So, Soufyan, I just wanted to know that your career journey, you started your career as a finance professional and an accounting. You started, I think, with PwC, you worked for Deloitte as well, and many other companies. So, give me some introduction how your journey was started and what are the challenges you are facing now.
Well, my journey started basically like a lot of students in finance. You basically have a contract before the end of your studies because you have all the big four coming to your school, asking your CV. Then you pass the tests before the end of the year. And so I was hired at PwC. At that time, I knew that auditing and accounting was something that I liked. So I never knew that it would be there 20 years later. But I started at PwC and I took it a bit like a third school. Like you start again to learn what real life is, but with the means of a big school. So you have mentors, you have coaches, you have trainings, you basically learn on the job because you have a structure with a senior, a manager, a partner. And so you learn a lot. It's a bit an accelerated course. But somehow I understood that it was not what I was going to do all my life because I kind of missed the point where your analysis needed to add value to the people taking decisions. Basically, you're there to say whether the accounts are good or not. Most of the time when I tried to go further, it was basically just wiped out like a paper in the garbage. So I missed the fact that I could use my analytical skills to do something better. And so this is why I tried to move to FP&A and controlling. However, it was a bit difficult for me to have a first experience having no experience in FP&A.
Hmm.
So my way of getting experience in FP&A was to join Deloitte as it was in a BPS department, business. No, it was the business processes performance, and it was a great way for me because basically you were hired by Deloitte, but you were assigned to different missions, to different assignments in controlling, accounting, treasury at their clients for projects of 6 months, 1 year, or something like that. And this is where I started to learn FP&A, controlling, and even business partnering, but I did that a bit later. And I did that during 4 years and a half, 5 years more or less. It was a great experience because in Belgium, it was a really small department. We were 100 compared to departments like auditing or consulting where there are hundreds and hundreds. And I learned a lot to be an entrepreneur because there I directly started to show what I could do. I started to build trainings for my colleagues, and eventually they started to see that I was motivated. So they included me in the recruitment. They included me in the outreach to new clients, to find
Hmm.
new clients. And so I learned a lot about how to be an entrepreneur. And it helped me when I decided to move away from Deloitte because there was a last frustration when I was there. I learned a lot, but when you are on a project during 6 months, eventually you're working on a budget you barely see in the end, and you don't know whether it was accurate, you don't know whether it was done, you're not there to reperform the forecast. And so it becomes a bit frustrating not to build up on your knowledge and on your relations. So I decided to move as a finance business partner to Proximus, which is a telco operator, the major telco operator in Belgium. And this is where I stayed the most. I stayed there 7 years, working in as a finance business partner, first for a business unit. And then I moved up as a finance manager for the strategic project of the B2C business unit. And this is basically my career in FP&A because after that, I decided to move as an entrepreneur.
Okay, great. I think uh, everybody has to start with this mindset, and FP&A is one of the skills that everybody has to learn. But before we jump into FP&A, Sufyan, you started your own work. You have Finance Circle Academy, and how did you decide that I should leave my corporate life and I have to start my own work? And before that, you have to take this decision considering many factors, your financials, how you will survive in the market, because you have your expenses as well. So what was the mindset at that time?
Well, there were many things because it started to grow in my head during the COVID times. You are home. I was a lot home, so I started to be interested in what other people do. And I at Deloitte, I also already started to give trainings. I created trainings about VBA, Power Pivot, and Power Query, and this is something that I liked, and I started to be interested in that. And at the same time, I was starting also to miss the entrepreneurship that I learned at Deloitte. Those little victories like signing a new contract, sending your first invoice, having this invoice paid, assigning people to their project. Those kind of things I missed as a finance business partner because basically it's almost always recurring. And even when it's a one-shot project that's huge and important, eventually there's no victory. You do your work and then you move on to another project. And it's not like there's going to be a small tick that you put on your list that you did something. So I started to really think it's time for me to build something on my own. And
Oh,
I started to understand, okay, what can I do? What can I bring to the world that I find interesting and that's my passion and that that many people would need. And this is how I came to develop this storytelling program because I thought that many people would need it. Many people would still today need to improve their storytelling skills. And so this is how I started this.
so what was the challenge in the beginning when you're saying somebody that I am the coach of data storytelling and please come to me and I will teach you? How was the reaction of the people that this is something your traditional education is not teaching you, right? Data
No,
storytelling. No, no CMA, no CPA, no MBA. Nobody is teaching these skills, but you pick very unique skill that is very rare in the market. And what was the reaction of the students when they found that there is a trainer today for data storytelling?
well, I'm going to tell you something that may be surprising. Everybody thinks it's super interesting,
Yeah.
but it's never the priority. You basically, I still have today some 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 challenges making people understand that it has to become a, a skill that you need in your skill set. Because every time there's something technical coming and L&D budgets for companies are always as restricted as possible. And so there's always something that they cannot miss. And like AI for the moment, at a certain time, it was basically having FP&A and then AI, it will be something new next time. But today, the reaction is very positive when people say, we need storytelling. There's still a gap between what they need and the action they take. So I haven't found the way to make it the number one priority for now, but I'm working on it. And thanks to these podcasts, I hope that the message will pass.
I think data storytelling is something that people wanted to learn. This is very clear because of FP&A business partnering, they understand that they cannot fly in this area without having these kind of skills. Because it's not about, I think, communication and presentation. Data storytelling is something different. Can you define to the audience that what exactly is data storytelling? If they have any confusion, they will be clear for this.
Well, generally, I prefer to speak of financial storytelling because data storytelling can be a lot of things. While when I speak of financial storytelling, you still include the fact that we have recurring presentations. And, you know, when you're in data, you make an analysis, you present it. So it's easy to make a story with a what, so what, now what. But when we have this recurring system of presentation, the monthly presentation, the quarterly presentation, the budget, the forecast, well, you have something different in that sense. But the difference between a presentation and a storytelling oriented presentation is what you want to do with it. A presentation is just delivering information. So I gathered this information. This is what I observed. Here's to you, and do what you want with it. What you use storytelling, it's basically that you want people to do something about it. And so to make sure that they use, and you must show how to use the results that you communicate about, well, you have to make sure that it's important for them and that they want to act upon it. And this is what storytelling is. It's using a way to speak, visuals that are interesting, a message that is important and also actionable, and also a structure, a narrative that will make sure that people listen from the start until the end where they have to make decisions.
You know, one thing I realized that finance presentation is always a boring presentation in the boardroom, right? But the finance presentation should be the most interesting presentation, should be, because finance has full view of the company and they can play around with all the information they have. They are the custodian of data. They have access for each and every department, everything they have. But unfortunately, because of not having these skills, they are just presenting the numbers even not presenting, they are reading the numbers behind the screen.
Yeah, I know.
This is unfortunately we have, because of our education system is not teaching us. So storytelling means, for example, I have seen people are presenting hundreds of slides, and if you are not getting any message from this slide, what is the benefit of these kind of presentations? So I think a storytelling message is the very clear, or message should be present or future. What do you think of how they can present this kind of skills?
Well, the most difficult for finance professionals comes from one of our strengths, basically our appetence for details. So we know details, we are very details oriented people. And so we make sure that there are no mistakes, that our figures are accurate, a debit equals credit. So we must make sure that the variance we speak about is totally explained, etc., etc. So all these things are strength, but in the world of communication, it becomes a weakness because we want to tell everything. The main weakness is learn to select. This is
Ah,
what the first step to storytelling is to learn to select what to tell about. And
okay.
for that, you have to learn what is important for the other people, what's important for the company, and what you can do about it. So I heard many times people speaking about IFRS during a presentation to the business, speaking about over and under accrual, etc. So all these things that do not speak to other people, and basically they cannot do anything about that. You'll correct it next month. So
Yeah.
this is the main point that I want people to understand when there is a presentation. You're not hiding things. It's just that you're selecting what you are going to talk about and what people need to hear. And that's one of the biggest the biggest weaknesses of finance professionals.
I think big pain for finance professional for storytelling, especially, that they should have a full command of business understanding. Number one thing, and they should understand. They should spend quality time, because today they are spending time to transform the data, cleaning the data, and they don't have sufficient time to work on the storytelling, because storytelling itself is a job that you need to go into details and find the reasons of increase and decrease. And that is today, I think, I don't know how AI is helping us, but today in the manual work, it is so difficult to present yourself with the clean data and stories and everything. And there are a lot of people in front of you, they can challenge you on those stories. So, how business is important to understand all these things.
Well, it's the basis of
Uh,
storytelling because what I it's a concept that I teach. It's to reverse the narrative. Generally, what you do when you present, you say, our revenue decreased, or our revenue are lower than budget by 200K, for example, because this. Now, what I tell people is to say first, this happened, and that led our revenue to be below budget by 200K, for example. It seems stupid. It seems just a linguistic trick, but the fact that you begin with the business event leading to a consequence in accounting, well, that's how you start getting the trust and the interest of people. Because let's not forget that accounting is just a translation of what happened in real life in a language that we know, accounting. And this is what we need to understand, that there's always a way to go back to what happened. And the way to do so, because let's be honest, you cannot know every single fact that took place to lead to your revenues. If you work in a small enterprise, maybe, but in a huge enterprise, you will have hundreds, thousands, even millions of transactions. You cannot know them all. The way to start understanding the business is to have a model, a financial model that's built based on business drivers. So the more business drivers you have, the more you will have the weapons to create a story. And when you have those, you will detect where the issues are, and you can already orientate the discussion with the business partners. Just like you said, you are together with the business on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, but you have everything that they need to tell you what took place. Is it a market? Is it a market effect? Is it something from the competition? Is it a problem that we had with a certain client? Is it that a certain supplier decided to increase their price? All of these are things that we don't know yet from the facts that we see in our P&L, but that we should know thanks to sharing this information upfront with the business.
But how collaboration is important, you cannot write the story for example, related to sales, and you don't have full visibility. So how important to collaborate with other department to build the story? Is this required or finance can do it independently?
No. This is required. There's no way you can create a good story without knowing what happens in the business, because basically you will just tell your observations and expect people to come with what happened. But a story is based on what you will get from the root causes. This is what feeds the story. It's not all revenue decreased by so much on this and this and this. You can do that for the minor variances, but you need to go further to make sure there's an action taken. When you say our revenue are decreasing on that area, well, you leave the people with information, and what do they do with it? What should we do? Is it something we can do by contacting our clients, our customers? Is it something that we do by decreasing our costs on that and that product? They don't know. So storytelling, the idea of storytelling is to bring them enough insights so that their decision-making process is eased. Without root causes, well, there's no decision to make.
How people start practicing these skills? This is the issue. They don't have proper guidance, proper institutes, because they are learning many things. They are learning communication skill from different person. They are learning presentation skill from different person. They are learning uh, different skills from different persons. So how they will start practicing? What are the tips you can share with us?
Well, for me, you do not need to wait for permission to give a presentation. How it works. You have the CFO who presents to the exco, to the board. You have a finance director who will present to some chiefs and their staff meeting. But there's always an audience for you. If you want to present internally in finance, try it. Try to do that on your lunchtime, for example, or also, there are team meetings organized in different layers of the company. Generally, how they do, well, it's cascaded because their bosses got the presentation from your manager, and so the message is diluted. But if you have the opportunity, try to be invited to their team meetings, to their staff meeting each Monday, each 2 weeks or something like that, and ask the responsible if you can have a slot of 10, 15 minutes to give them an update about their own team, their own product, their own business unit, their own operations, so that you will get used to have feedback, see if they're interested, get questions, and you will start to understand how a presentation can become better and become more interesting and actionable.
Exactly, this is the point I normally tell people, that don't wait for the opportunity that somebody will tell you, come and present me. It will not happen, but you have to create the opportunity. Gather a few of your friends, maybe 2 3 from your department, and just present them what you are doing, and that will be the start for you to bring the confidence in front of the audience. So maybe starting you are gathering few people, then you can expand it to the 10, then 15, then 20. then maybe management start noticing your skills, and they give you opportunity then, because he is very passionate about presentation. So you have to take a initiative from your side. It will not happen that you wait for your manager and manager will bring you in the meeting room. That will not happen. So if
Yeah.
this is not happening, you have to take and create the opportunity for you. And this is the best thing, as you mentioned, that please take an initiative and bring yourself in front of people.
You know what I did once was work on deep dives. So the monthly update will always be presented by your boss. That's for sure. But sometimes if you see something that deserves a deep dive, well, you do that well, you prepare your presentation, and then you ask, shall I come to the management committee, for example, or shall I come to the exco and present it?
Yeah.
Most of the time, since you did an extra job that was not expected from you, your manager will just say yes. In other cases, your manager will maybe find it too difficult for him because it's very technical, it's very detailed, and something that he doesn't really live in every day. And so he will be happy that you take the chance to
Oh.
present it. Most of the time in my career, but there's one thing that you need to know is that most of the managers, the directors that I've had in my career were happy to let me go and present and try something. It's just that their first reflex will be to play the umbrella, to protect you from the potential risks to go and present in front of the exco or in front of a management committee. This can be a career breaker, but it can also be a career trigger. And so most of them will just play safe and decide that they will go and present rather than their teams. And so if you want to take the risks, you have to be ready, but it's just that they don't know you want to take the risk. So just try, ask, and most of the time they will help you with this.
So one question, I think this question, uh, the right question or not, but do you think leaders has also this kind of weaknesses? Even leaders. I'm not talking about accountant and senior accountant and financial analyst. I'm talking about the manager and above people. They are also struggling with this skill. They are not. They are presenting something, but actually this is not storytelling. So are you facing in your circle these kind of issues that senior people are also struggling on this?
I've seen a huge difference between leaders who had the opportunity to have a business experience. So in operations, for example, in sales, in marketing, those finance people have more ease to become storytellers. While for those who had their whole career in finance, it's still a struggle. They are more used to that and they sometimes learn communication, but let's say it's not their strongest point.
Okay. So what to do people if leaders are not presenting well, how they will drain down the information to the bottom employees, so second layer. So if somebody is asking me, boss, I want to present something, please take me with you, and there's a fear, if he can present better than his boss, the boss can be in a problem.
I've never had that. And most of the bosses, maybe I worked with great people, and most of the bosses were very happy and started to congratulate me in the end of my career when I started to become better in presentations and storytelling. They were supportive. So I had the chance to work with great people. Maybe it will happen, but let's remember it's just the nature of human beings. You will have people who are altruists. You will have people who are egotistical. It's just the nature of human beings.
Yeah, correct. One thing is changing everything, which is AI. Is there any chance that storytelling is also replaced by AI, or human will continue?
AI can enhance your storytelling. It will not replace,
Okay.
because of many things. But the first one is that, we said that the basis of storytelling lies in the business aspect of finance. So how you learn what happened and the root causes behind, well, you will be able to tell that in a story. And for now, we know that this part is still in the head of people working. Like, it's not structured in a data, it's not structured in mails. I don't know if you've observed correctly the Salesforce files from sales. It's not that they completely fill it with a lot of valuable information. So these information are not foundable. And the second thing is that storytelling is also about convincing people, making it important, delivering thing. And in this, I strongly believe that it remains our unique uh, selling proposition. It's the value that we can bring later, financial modeling, later accounting self, later every technical aspect will somehow be replaced. So the value will lie in how good we use that data, that analysis, these models to make sure we do something about it. And storytelling is the bridge between those two. And I'm pretty sure that we still have some good 15 or 20 years in
Uh,
that.
so everybody has to be comfortable that this is not going to be replaced very easily.
We never know, but for now, I strongly believe that we can use AI to enhance our storytelling, but it's still not really adapted to the audiences. It's not a style. Let's say that the way you present is still your personal branding. It's how you sell yourself. It's how you sell your information, your work. And if you just put it with AI, well, it will just be a reporting. And if the solution was just a reporting, well, we've had reporting since 30, 40 years. So I don't think that we have huge problems in that area.
Why I asked this question because I had a chance to attend an event where Oracle company bring the new solution of AI, and they have a human AI, which is the model, and they connected their human AI with the data and income statement or their financials, and they were asking question from that human, that AI, what is my sales growth this time last year. The AI was answering as if human answering it. So they are talking to the human, that is I have seen in my eyes. So I think this things is going to improve, and I don't know, human feel will always be there. You cannot replace it, because story doesn't mean only speaking. You have to conversate with the people. It's
Mhm.
a proper conversation that human cannot do, and sorry, AI cannot do, but human has always has these kinds of engagement with the people. The feel you cannot create by AI that human can do.
Yeah, more than than the delivery, because the delivery of AI of today is not great, but I'm pretty sure it will improve. But more than that, it's your link with people, your link with the business events, how you connect the expression connect the dots. Well, it's basically how you make sure to regroup information from multiple parts that are not structured and not even written. And even if AI started to listen to our conversation or enter the heads of the people, well, I'm not sure that it has a
Yeah.
strong advantage on us. So
And
for us, our human skills are our unfair advantage, and we have to take advantage of it.
AI even cannot create the serious environment of business decisions, where everybody is is working together and they are bringing some ideas, and there is a lot of conversation, and these kind of things. AI cannot bring that kind of environment in the boardroom. So this
No,
is something machine that cannot.
no. Indeed, and especially generative AI, when you see that it always tries to please you, to give you an answer, even if it's not correct. So imagine an AI agent in a boardroom when one will say that, oh, I'm sorry for the mistake, you're right, and then the other will say the contrary. Ah, you must be right. It will become crazy.
Sufyan, I will just talk about your course. I have seen your website. It's a great initiative that you have taken from your side. And can you talk about your course? What is the content you are teaching to the people, and how finance people can get the benefit from your course?
Well, my course is based on the multiple discussions I've had with CFOs in the last 4 years, when I try to understand what, according to them and to CEOs and other chiefs, was problematic with finance presentation. And there are five main issues. First, there's no clear message. We touched upon this, an actionable message that makes sense for the business and that's actionable. The presentations are not tailored for the different audiences. There's no narrative that's used. Generally, the structure that we use is the one of the templates we receive, but it goes along with the P&L. And so you have the revenues, you will have the costs, and then you will have the OPEX, and then you go to CAPEX, etc.
Oh,
It's a structure that's used for us, but it doesn't really respond to the need of people not working in finance. Our slides, it's the fourth issue. Our slides are terrible. Let's say those are mostly for reporting purposes, but less for slides. And then the delivery itself is very difficult. And so all the training is based on that. I have my training in multiple formats. Generally, I give it to corporates, to companies. And so I go live and start with a use case that we use from the beginning until the end. And so we start with the analysis, we extract the information that we want, and we challenge it with the business to understand how they would like to receive the presentation. And we adapt the narrative according to that to finally build the slides according to the narrative and finish the day by presenting this. So in live, in corporates, it's excellent because you have the practice, you have the group effect, and so you are very excited. Now, I use the same structure for the self-paced version of my training. So in videos, you also have a use case. I will intervene much less, of course, but there's one big surprise for the self-paced version, and it's something that doesn't really happen often. You can record your presentation with your slides, your camera, and I will review it and give you feedback on it. So that's something that doesn't really exist a lot in self-paced version of training. So that's my way of making it practical and making sure that you are still practicing as much as possible, because without practice, it's very difficult to become fluent in storytelling, in presentations. You need to practice. So that's my way of keeping my learning practical, because without practice, it's very difficult to become fluent in storytelling, in presentations. You need to practice. For the self-paced version, of course, I cannot offer a one-to-one coaching, but the feedback I give is extremely valuable. So that's something I really wanted to offer, because I want people to be able to tell that they indeed learn something in the course.
Sofian, this is a 100% online course, or you give them chance to speak with you?
Well, for the self-paced version, just like I said, I do not speak with them because otherwise it would take me too much time it's my way of keeping it affordable for the people. And so what I do is that to make sure that they get feedback from me is that I give the feedback, but asynchronously. So they record their presentation, I watch it on my side, and I deliver a written feedback so that they can learn what they did well, what they could improve, and one or two other tips that they can use for their presentations.
Okay. And you are engaging the physical training as well, right? You're not restricting yourself to online. You are going to different forums and speaking as a speaker. How is this experience going on? So how this experience help you to grow in your areas?
Well, this is the kind of trainings that I prefer because when I have the opportunity to be with the teams who want to learn more about presentations and storytelling, it's a full day in which we have the opportunity to start from the use case. So the same use case that I use, we start from that. They practice in teams. It's a bit competitive because I try to organize that in 3 or 4 teams, and so they try to get the message from the data, and then when they have it, they challenge it with their business partners. And in that case, I create role plays or I use AI avatars to become the business partners. Then they must create the narrative that will work with their audiences. So in that case, they need to learn about who's going to be the target of their presentation. And they create the narrative with a game that I created to, at that moment, start building the slides. And so I give my best practices, best tips on creating slides and visuals. And when they create the slides in Teams, this is the funniest moment because I, on purpose, do not give a lot of time. Why? Because I want people to understand that storytelling is not about having perfect slides. You could present without slides, but slides cannot present themselves. And so at that moment, I give them a template. I just ask them, okay, put the main message, one visual here and there, because the most important is going to be the last part in which I teach them how to deliver a great presentation with body language, with voice tone, with public speaking tips, with how to respond to difficult questions. All these tips come so that in the end of the day, they give a group presentation and they get feedback from their peers, from me, so that in the end of the day, they will have gone through the whole process of a good presentation and they will know what worked well, what worked less well, in order to practice already on the day one.
Okay, that's great. I think once you engage with the people, I think learning must be very fast because online, I think, will not be enough, especially when you are learning something storytelling. So if you are with them, you can highlight the mistakes they are doing, you can improve them in front of you. So a lot of engagement in the physical sessions. It's not possible because I also have my course of business partnering and people are buying it, but still I feel that physical interaction is a must. It creates a lot of impact.
It's better. The thing is, for live sessions, I do that either in person, but for that I need a team because otherwise I cannot go to a company for 2 or 3 people. It's not enough. Otherwise, the prices would be crazy and no one would want to pay it. And for online sessions, I tried multiple times to organize cohort sessions in which people could come and learn together with me, but it didn't work. So the self-paced version is, I think, a good compromise in
Hmm.
the sense that people can learn storytelling at a price that's more affordable on
Yeah.
their time, because when you do a live session, if you miss it, you miss it. You will have the recording, but it's not the same. While when you have a self-paced version, you see one or two videos one day, videos another day. If it's a Saturday and you don't have anything to do, you can watch 10 videos in one time. So all of these help a lot. And
Yeah.
so it's not the ideal, but it's a good compromise.
Yeah, it's both has their pros and cons. But when you have online course, you feel the ownership of the course. You have it. You feel that you can watch any point of time. Either you are on the bed or you are in the bedroom. You can watch on your comfort. That is the beauty of online course. I'll just move to the last part, Sufyan. You are a celebrity on LinkedIn. MashaAllah. You have 78,000 following. Wow. I don't know how long will it take to reach to this level. I'm also trying my best, but it's very slow increasing. But your journey was very fast. So it's mean the topic you are choosing, storytelling, people are liking it. They like you. They love you actually. Otherwise, they will not start following you. So how LinkedIn helping people to start their LinkedIn journey and how they can learn from LinkedIn journey. Why they are on LinkedIn and what should be the main purpose? Because I have seen different people, they have different purpose. One of the person I met last week, he said, my purpose on coming on LinkedIn is to become a CFO. Somebody is saying, I want to find a job. Somebody is saying, I want to find a mentor. I want to learn something. So, what do you think? How LinkedIn is helping people?
Well, it helps them for their careers, whatever it is. For people who try to find a job, well, anyone can create content in order to be seen and in order to show that they are motivated. Um, if you want to grow as a CFO, you can do that as well. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you can do that as well. The ways to do that will be completely different according to your goals. What I would suggest to people, and it's not a suggestion, is even more than this, is try to be genuine. And I do not say that you have to talk about your life and what you did for eating and that inspired you a good thing that you would do for your office. But what I'm saying when I tell people to be genuine is share your experience. Share what you did and worked, what you did and did not work. Today, and I'm losing a bit the feeling I had in the beginning. Today, it's full of AI generated content. And AI is a great tool to help you structure your ideas, to get inspiration. But if you just say to the AI, okay, that's what I want a LinkedIn post about that topic, generate me a post.
And copy
You
paste.
have hundreds and thousands of people who do that. And so you're not different than the others. If you want to be to differentiate from the others, just be yourself and propose something. It might not be perfect. You may not have a perfect English. I don't have a perfect English, but you will be yourself. You will share your experiences, and this is what people expect. When they hire you, they will not hire your Gen AI tool that generates content. They will hire you. And so the way for you to be detected, the way for you to be interesting for people is to be you. Just show what you did. I did that budget. It didn't go so well because we had a variance. But here are the three things I learned from that. And just share really what you learned. Just do not ask ChatGPT to tell you what to do. Those are the things that I would suggest. And whatever the format, because I know that there are discussions about cheat sheets or not, selfies or not, but doesn't really matter. Each one, its format. I'm not a snob. I will not tell people you cannot do that, but the content needs to be yours. That's all I advise to people.
No, this is right because you have to learn to write. Writing is a skill. If you will stop writing, the skill will go out from you automatically. You will become weaker and weaker. You will be used to of AI. So don't let AI to take these skills from you. You have to learn writing, because if you're writing, at least the word should be from your side. People can smell the words, if this is coming from AI or not, and they will genuinely know. People know this is because AI is creating different kind of vocabulary. This is not coming from you. Nobody can is writing it. So people can catch these kind of skills. So if you are by your own, if you are writing something your own, that will impact a lot.
Yeah, and even more than the writing, it's really the content that matters, because I'm pretty sure you detect it when you see an AI generated text. Everything there is vague. It's clearly not coming from a real life experience. You will have examples that are so stereotypical that you see it's not a real life experience. So
Exactly.
even if you do not dare writing because English is not your primary language, just tell ChatGPT to create an English article with this. Okay, I experienced that. Okay, make it in perfect English. For me, it's more valuable to have a text generated by AI with your real experience than the contrary. Having vague examples, vague and completely cliche article that you will rewrite. For me, that's, if I had to choose, I would prefer an AI text with your experience at yourself.
I agree, 100% agree. So, any final advice, Sufyan, to the audience or myself, how people can start learning the journey of data storytelling?
But for me, it's to start learning, you have to first learn, to train, because it's not something that comes like that. It's not something you can just wake up one day and say, oh yeah, this is storytelling and this is how I will start practice. So you have to start training, learning, and then practice. The more you practice, the better you will be. And so this is my advice: train, learn, and practice, and don't try to cheat.
At least start the journey, and this journey will definitely help you to reach to your goal. If you will not
Yeah.
start something, it will not happen. So start the journey, and then I think magic will come automatically.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Sufyan, for this podcast. I think it's a lot of learning from everybody watching this podcast, and from my side as well. I learned new things from you, and wish you all the best for your all future endeavors and whatever you are doing. I wish that you will achieve everything what you are planning for.
Thanks a lot, Sayed. It's very nice to be with you, and I wish you the best in your career as well, in your podcast and in your courses.
Thank you very much.